My A-frame has a cracked skylight that needs to be replaced. I've posted how to do this before, but today I'm going to try out a whole different system to install it. This promises to be faster, easier, and a lot less stressful for the do-it-yourselfer, so let's hop to it. The original front skylights of my Flagstaff T19 QBHW camper had deteriorated to a point where they needed to be replaced. Not only did the plastic haze up to where you could barely see outside, but they also developed a lot of cracks in the plastic. These cracks allowed rain to seep into the skylights. Last year, I replaced the driver's side skylight, and it's been working fine. I used the other skylight to test different systems to temporarily repair the leaks, and I have posted a video on the results. I'll include a link in the end credits. Well, the skylight's repairs have deteriorated over the past year to the point where it's leaking again, so it's time to change it out. I ordered another replacement skylight from Easy Tops Incorporated. I will put a link in the comments section. No, I do not make any commissions from them, but they are a great company to work with and I recommend them. The correct size skylight for my camper is a 22.5 inch by 22.5 inch, 4-inch high dome with a flange measurement of 25 3/4 inches. I chose bronze, which is lighter than the original dark smoke skylights, but it's the darkest color they have. The skylight took about 3 weeks to arrive, and I had to wait another couple of weeks for the weather and my schedule to clear up. I wanted to make sure I had at least a half a day to do the installation. The first thing I have to do is take off the old skylight. These tools will help remove the old caulking and free the skylight from the roof panel. Before I start the removal, I pull off the interior garnish ring and set it aside. You can see the construction of the wall panel with interior aluminum panel bonded to expanded foam styrofoam and a top layer of wood and fiberglass. I have to fold the camper roof down so I can get to the skylight and work around it. I will try to keep off the roof as much as possible, as I don't want to possibly damage the roof panel. I used the edge of the multi-scraper to cut and peel up the old sealant. It's pretty easy to remove, and I worked my way all around the perimeter. Now to remove the skylight. In the factory, the plastic is cemented to the panel with an epoxy, and I have to break the bond. Again, the multi-scraper works really well. A bit of twisting and prying and the flange pops free. For comparison, here is the old skylight, and it's easy to see that this is made out of a lot lighter gauge plastic than the newer one. Based on quality and construction, I think the replacement skylight will probably last a whole lot longer than this one did. Now that the old skylight is off, I have to remove the epoxy. On the other skylight, I just went to town with a scraper and a lot of effort like this, but I want to make this process a lot easier than it was. I went to Harbor Freight and picked up a smooth-edged scraper blade for my oscillating multi-tool. It's stiff, has a sharp edge, and is perfect for this. This sure beats hand scraping. I was able to clean off almost all of the epoxy in about 30 minutes, and my shoulders, wrists, and arms didn't have to suffer. I just do a little hand scraping with a stiff putty knife to clean up a bit more of the glue, and I'm ready to go to the next step. I have to make sure that the surface is really clean, so I take a little bit of brake cleaner, apply it on a rag, and wipe down the area. Notice I'm careful to avoid getting the cleaner on the roof's panel styrofoam core, as the solvents in it will dissolve the foam pretty quickly. Now I dry fit the new skylight. I set it over the opening and center and square it up. The sides of the hole were originally cut a bit too wide, so I only have less than an inch to attach it to on each side. After I'm satisfied with the positioning, I mark the flange edges on the roof panel. I take the skylight into the house and out of the sun, and I allow it to cool down a bit. In the freezer, I have a roll of double-sided Eternabond tape. It's been sitting in here for a couple of hours. Instead of just using adhesive caulk, I'm going to use the Eternabond to attach the skylight to the roof surface. That should create an instant and almost permanent seal. Putting it in the freezer makes this very sticky tape a lot easier to work with. Even so, it's still really sticky. Using a new microfiber towel dampened with a little alcohol, I clean the bottom of the flange. I peel off the top plastic layer from the tape and apply it to the flange only, starting with what will be the top edge. I'm careful to adhere it to the flange itself, not on the skylight curve. I leave a 1/4 to 1/8 inch gap along the outer edges. This will later be filled with a sealant. I take a sharp pair of scissors and trim the loose edge so that it's even with the inside edge of the flange. I probably should have done this before I taped it down. For the two sides and the bottom pieces, I cut them to fit and install them the same way. I butt them up tightly together, trying to eliminate any seam gaps. Finally, I use the flat edge of a stiff knife to make sure all the seam joints are level. It's time to go back out to the camper and install it. Before I secure down the skylight, I give the surface of the panel another wipe down, this time with some alcohol. I let it dry for a minute before proceeding. I carefully line up the flange edges with the marks that I had made on the panel. Then I pull off all the protective plastic. The tape will really grab at the panel, so I'm careful to keep things aligned. Now that it is in place, I use my hands to firmly press the flange against the panel. I take my laminate roller and I give it a really good rolling to make sure it's really adhered. This skylight isn't going anywhere. To seal the edges against any chance of weather working its way in, I apply a heavy bead of Sikaflex 221 adhesive sealant. This product does a good job and I've had good luck using it with skylights before. I purchased this tube from Amazon along with the double-sided Eternabond tape. I try to force the sealant under the flange edge to fill the gap I left. I also make sure that the bead extends above the top edge of the flange to be sure it is sealed. The new skylight is in. I let everything sit for a couple of hours to make sure the glue and the sealant are all set. I open the roof back up. That skylight sure looks great. I just reinstall the garnish ring and this job is done. I'm very happy with this new skylight. The quality of the Lexan is much better than what came with the camper, and I'm confident that the Eternabond and Sikaflex will keep it secure and weather-tight for a long time. I hope this showed you how easy this job really is. The whole process took me about 4 hours, but that included taking the extra time involved with recording the process. How about high-fiving that like icon? Ring that notification bell, and as always, please subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of new episodes in the works, and I'd love to share each one with you. In the meantime, keep camping.